It's legally impossible, but decertifying the 2020 election is a core platform for one far-right candidate for governor, and now the talking point of the man who Assembly Republicans chose to lead an election review.
Michael Gableman called for the legislature to look at doing that today. Naomi Coles was at the Capitol for Gableman's 3.5-hour testimony. Naomi?
First, a necessary reminder. President Joe Biden won Wisconsin by about 20,000 votes during the 2020 election, and multiple courts, recounts, audits, reviews, they have all upheld the win in this election. They also haven't found any evidence of widespread fraud, yet despite that, Michael Gableman, a year and a half later, is calling to suggesting that a Democratic election should be overturned.
This is important.
A widely watched day in the state capitol.
It was hard to be handed a report moments before our opportunity to ask questions about that report.
Michael Gableman presented his second report in his 2020 election investigation, commissioned by Assembly Republicans. He called for the legislature to look at doing the legally impossible, decertifying the election.
The legislature ought to take a very hard look at the option of decertification of the 2020 Wisconsin presidential election.
And dismantling the bipartisan Wisconsin Elections Commission.
The Wisconsin Elections Commission, unfortunately, at best, is hopelessly incompetent.
In his 136-page report released minutes before the hearing, Gableman called for partisans to take over certifying electors, which Wisconsin Election Commission Chair and Democrat Ann Jacobs said in a tweet was, quote, shocking. And Republican Assembly Majority Leader Jim Steineke said would be the, quote, end of our republic as we know it.
I agree with Jim Steineke. We cannot have the legislature coming in and supplanting its will for the will of the voters after the voters have cast their ballots.
Gableman couldn't directly answer Democratic Representative Mark Spreitzer about his contract, which expired.
Do you currently have a contract with the legislature?
I shouldn't go too far into detail. I believe that I do have a legally enforceable contract. Others would say that it ran out at the end of December.
In 3.5 hours of testimony, Gableman touted many already debunked claims and played videos of people his team thinks were too old to vote properly.
It's really important to note on this issue around people in nursing homes that people maintain the constitutional right to vote until and unless a court takes it away.
Now, what Gableman backed in terms of election decertification actually runs completely counter to what the boss who hired him has said. Assembly Speaker Robin Vos has told reporters, has been public, he has said there is no legal pathway to decertifying the election in Wisconsin. Vos didn't address that in a brief statement today, thanking Gableman for his service.
Naomi, live at the Capitol. Thank you. Governor Evers is responding to Gableman's report. In his statement, he said in part, quote, the right to vote is a fundamental core value of our democracy. It should not be subject to the whim of politicians. No politician should be able to abuse their power to prevent eligible voters from casting their ballots or to cheat our election results just because they didn't like the outcome of the last election.